Yeah, all the colorists out there. This is Nathan. Just going to do a quick critique and paint over. I guess this will be hopefully be part one of the series. Um, this is a page that I had colored. It's from Big Game number 2. I think this is from 2004. The artist, the book was Shannon Denton, good friend of mine. We had a lot of history going all the way back to Extreme Studios. Both got our start there. Excuse me, I'm just coming over a little cold. On this page, everything was colored in channels. I didn't have any flat saves, so I went ahead and recreated those really quick. The thing I like about coloring Shannon's work, he has like nice thick lines, so the flats are like really fast to do. So let's just get to the basics of it, I guess. Right here, first thing I notice automatic, like down here in this area, this is way too dark. So I want to go in and kind of lighten these guys a little bit. Probably the smoke down here as well. So let's go ahead and duplicate that in another layer so we can look at what we had done later on. So I'm just going to run some levels on it. One thing like I used to do back in the day is like I used to do things very dark. And when you do that, it looks good on your monitor and everything like that, but when you go to print, a lot of times it gets way too dark. I'm not sure if this book was ever completed. It's so far back I can't remember. But I don't recall seeing this one in print. So I honestly couldn't tell you how it turned out. So I think those guys look pretty good right there. I like the bluish color. Still adds depth. And this guy here still pops out some. I think we'll go ahead and get back to my flats layer. Maybe darken the smoke a little bit. See how that looks. Maybe add some blue. Kind of tie it in with those guys, but not too much. Lighten it a little. What I want to do is I want to get depth. So we see like these guys here are closest to us, these three, and then the smoke, and then this guy in the background. So a lot of ways we could do that is with the color, with saturation. So that's why these guys are going to be like really desaturated to really separate everything. Oops. Let me get these guys selected again on my flats layer. A little bit darker, not too much. What probably will do as well is like we'll play with the color. Usually I'll do this a lot. I'll just have like a new layer and I'll mess around, have it like on multiply or maybe overlay or something. Let me grab a color first. Lately against reds, I've been really liking like a teal color. We'll throw in something like that. Then let's go like overlay. Let's see what that looks like. That's not too shabby. It really pops out against the red, but the problem is it really pulls out against like everything else on the page. So let's try multiply. And getting a little bit too dark there. Let's mess around with the opacity right here. All right, I'm kind of digging that, but then it's kind of mixing in with the background with the border here, so I'll probably change that. I think it's supposed to be black anyway. Let's see what that looks like. Let me just do a new layer here. All right, starting to look better here. Let's get these two guys back here. Wish I could tell you more about the book, but it was so long ago I could barely remember it myself. We got to go like that, okay. Lighten him up a little bit, and we'll go back to these clouds, darken them up a little bit. So a whole lot of tweaking, and usually like I'll do all my rendering first, but then I always go back and maybe spend like another 30 minutes or so. I always go back and just mess around with everything, see what I could tweak a little bit better. Let me mess with this. Does this work? Does this work? And you always find out different things. You lose nothing by trying a little bit more. I think the foreground guy here can use maybe a little bit of color as well, kind of like these guys that'll tie in like the rest of the page together. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll get him on a separate layer as well. I don't know if I want to go with the same color that I used here. Let's use our eyedropper and pick that. Let's try it out and see how it looks. So we'll go down here, New layer, set that to multiply. Just drop that on there. Oops, that's on everything. Alright, lower the opacity on that. Looks okay. I think what I'll do is probably go in a little bit more. Or actually, I'll just erase out. So again, I'm just doing this as a paint over just to illustrate. I mean, of course, when you guys are actually doing your pages, it's going to look a whole lot cleaner than mine. So this is just a quick paint over, just to illustrate what I'm talking about. So just pop that out a little bit more. Get that warmth back in there for the highlights, the rim lights. Alright, got that going. Another thing to add more depth to it, what I like to do, in here, like I always set my line art up on a separate layer. None of this bullshit setting your line art to multiply. As you can see, it's really on its own layer. The problem with setting your line art to multiply, I mean, that's good for when you're first starting off, if you just want to put your line art on there and color away. But if you're working on a project, it just limits you so much as to what you could do with the effects-wise and everything like that. Quick way, like I'll do, I guess what they call color holds or line art knockouts, coloring the line art, however you want to say it. I'll do a new layer right above the line art. And I'll just click this, use previous layer to create clip mask. So now what I can do is I can pick a color that, say, like I want to change this line art to. Let me lighten that a little bit so it pops. And I'll grab, let's see, a hard edge brush. I can just go in. I don't have to worry about, you know, if I'm nailing it exactly or having to bust out my lasso tool. I can just go in here and color this very easily. And it's on its own layer. That clipping mask does. Let me turn that off. Release clipping mask. I'm actually, see, I'm coloring it all over the place. The clipping mask keeps it to what's underneath it. So that's the line art. And that's going to allow us, we can just easily adjust it, make it look how we want it to, tweak it, kind of like that color right there. I'm going to go ahead and use that on the other panels. And again, that's good for all the panels, really quick line art knockouts. So there we go. A lot of people ask me where the speed comes from when you're coloring it every day. Coloring every day is going to help, of course. The other part of it is just learning quicker techniques. You know, the more you practice, the more you're going to learn what works best for you. What works for me might not, you know, be to your advantage. So it's always important to keep up on your craft. Next one we're going to do is down here. We'll knock out the fire. Needs to look hotter. It's too bland down here, so we'll go ahead and do that. Let's get a color on there first, and we'll start adjusting it. See how we like it. Another way to help speed up is your quick keys. It's going to be tremendous to you. Everybody keeps on asking me about my old keyboard. I had a chance recently to upgrade, but I didn't want to because mine still has like the number keys on it, and I use those all the time. It's for so like your opacity. Instead, so you got like the opacity of your layer. It could be like on the hand tool. So instead of going over here and messing with the slider all the time, I could just hit 2 on my keyboard. It's already automatically at 20%. Or I could hit 5. It's at 50%. 9 is at 90%. 0 is 100%. It works the same way exact for your airbrush and everything too. So I just can't get away from the numbers, the number pad. Let's see, we'll add another. Cool thing is like when you have a clipping mask, you add another layer in between it. It's automatically going to give you another clipping mask. So that's going to speed you up. Oops, let me do that again. All right, so there we go. Another clipping mask, and we're going to knock out these Kirby dots. Give them a little bit of depth. I mean, they're still going to pop. But we'll just get some more depth going on in the piece. I guess if you really wanted to spend the time, you go in on the all the clouds and everything down here as well. But I don't think we're going to need it on this piece. It's a little trick I do a lot of times when, you know, to add a lot of depth is just go ahead and play around with with the line art, doing various colors and stuff like that. You don't want to do it to every piece. Not every artist. It's like a Mike Mignola or something like that. You know, the blacks are very nice. I think it's one of those ones, if you mess with it too much, it's going to mess up the balance of the piece. It's not going to look good at all. Alright, so just going in, erasing that out. And again, Shannon's thick lines, I love them so much. Makes it a lot easier to do all this stuff. Let me get that going. So now, because I have this other one under, see I have the fire on this layer 11 right here. And I have the dots on 12, so if I need to go over it, like I can, you know, go all over the fire and it's not going to affect me at all because the way I have my layers set up. It used to be like we would just color in channels, and that's just the way it was. You didn't use layers at all. It was very rare you met somebody that used layers. If they did use layers, right after they were done coloring on that layer, they merged it down. The reason why is like we didn't have the memory computers have nowadays. It's pretty ridiculous what we had to work with back then. All right, so go ahead and knock those. Nah, not too nice looking. So just do it like that. And again, it's just you can still see them. They still pop. They still crackle, and it's giving so much depth in between like these guys back here and the clouds. Let's go ahead and add another layer. Let's see what those clouds will look like. Because now I'm curious. Probably had more depth to it. A little bit darker than the shadows here. Let's see. Again, just really quickly, just to paint over. Try not to get, because a lot of time I like to spend time is like just go and you try to fix every small little pixel, and the truth of it, you're not even going to see that on the printed page. And that slows me down a lot. So that's another way you could speed up. Don't worry about those small little pixels that nobody's ever going to see. All right, let's get that. So that one, add a little bit of a line on that. There we go. Oops, don't know what happened there. All right, get that going. You see, yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything like that, feel free to comment. I'll check often. Let's see. You know, I kind of dig that. Maybe I can go a little bit darker. Let's see. Nah, I like it like that. That does pop out a lot now. A lot of depth now between these guys and the middle ground, which is the smoke. All right, so let's go on back to the dots. I think this color worked out well. We'll just go ahead and what you can do as well. I mean, if you have like big open spaces like this and big thick outlines, you don't have to worry about it too much. Bam, just fill it. Like I said, Shannon's work is amazing to work on. Saves me so much time. Shannon stuff I was doing, I think about 5 or 6 pages a day. One, because I'm fast, and 2, because the artwork is nice and open. I can go ahead and do all my special effects and everything like that with no hassles. That, and I was coloring comics every day, so that helped. Got that one, got that one. Let's see, got that color. Yeah, that looks nice. Again, on this page, it makes it somewhat easier, because now I did the color hold on that one. I'm sure you noticed, like this panel is just duplicated. I'm sure the dialogue explains why. I think he's like frozen in time or something like that. The Asian guy's a badass. So what I could do, I could just go ahead and copy that. But I'll also make sure it doesn't always line up exactly. So double check your work. Make sure I'm at 0. Had a little bit of a feather on that. That's all right. It's just a have to remember it's just a paint over. Quick. All right, got that one done. So now, again, I can just marquee that whole section again and just bring that back up. All right, that looks good. One other thing I could do, which I didn't do like too much back in the days, but now I like to. It adds a lot of punch. I'll go in, let's say like a lighten layer, and I'll grab a nice, like this orangish red here. Let's see. I'll add. Let me get this glow. It'll pop out this fire, make it really hot. Let me see, soft brush, like that. It adds a little bit to the room lighting here. That'll really pop it. Get that fire there going. So I get a sense of a nice sense of heat coming off of them. Really gonna pop that guy out some more. So now it really stands out. Get a little bit more, maybe not as bright. Go here. Again, just like picking the colors and just giving it a little bit of a glow, like that. Let me see. Nah, I don't think he needs it. We'll just keep it on the fire for now. And I think let's go back to what we had. The easiest way to do that. I'll just put all that in a group. Let me. All right. Now, what I'll do, let me duplicate the line art. I'll put that on a separate layer. Because I did that, I have to redo all these clipping masks. All right, I just complicated it a little bit more. Never mind. All right, so we have our. This is what the original page looked like. And then the painted over version. You can see there's not a whole lot of flow, really brings it all together or anything like that, and here we do. So again, it's all about taking it to the next level. And there we have it. Send me a message on YouTube or visit my DeviantArt account, lummage.deviantart.com. Any questions? Yeah, please, if you have any files that you want to critique on, professional critique, paint over, help you get to that next level, send it to me. Thanks a lot for watching, and hope to talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.